Hi everyone, hope your caffeine levels are high because today we are going to talk about my epic battle against the sun, my ultimate sleep nemesis. So, my name is Vishrut Kohli and I'm from India. By day, I'm a principal engineer at Battery Smart, helping thousands of drivers swap their electric vehicle batteries. By night, well, I aspire to be a champion sleeper, but sun has other plans. As Battery Smart grows at lightning speed and to minimize downtimes, our deployments happen late at night. So to get my precious 8 hours, I've adopted to the vampire schedule. Bed at 2 a.m. and rise at 10 a.m. And as you know, vampires doesn't need sunlight. So what this talk is about. This is me at 2 a.m. watching a nice calming view outside my window, which helps me sleep. A few hours later, the sun rises, flooding my room with light and turning it into a sauna. Being a light sleeper, I'm forced to stumble to the window and close the blinds before collapsing back into bed. These constant sleep interruptions were leaving me feeling less like an engineer and more like a grumpy zombie at work. So my engineering brain kicked into overdrive and I decided to fight the sun with Python. Today, I'll take you through my journey of building the ultimate anti-sun defense mechanism. We'll explore different versions of it and the mishaps along the way. So, there are no fancy prerequisites needed for the talk, just some basic understanding of Python, love for all things IoT, and a high tolerance for terrible jokes, because trust me, there will be plenty. So, I thought, hey, this seems like a piece of cake. All I needed was a light sensor, a Raspberry Pi, and a motor. Whenever the light sensor will detect the sun rays, the Raspberry Pi will send a swift command to close the blinds. Easy peasy, right? So, to build this, we needed the following items. This little green board is the hero of our project. It is a microprocessor which helps us with all the automation. Think of it like James Bond of the DIY world. Resourceful, adaptable, and always ready to take a new mission. Then the UU Gear light sensor module. Now, don't let its size fool you. It helps to detect even a tiny bit of light rays. It's compatible with a wide range of microcontrollers and single board computers, including a Raspberry Pi. It's like a universal translator to the light sensing world. Then the NEMA 17 stepper motor. Unlike those wild, unpredictable DC motors, this one is all about precision. This allows us to control blinds with pinpoint accuracy, ensuring they open and close just the right amount. The NEMA 17 part refers to its size. It has a 1.7-inch baseplate. It's popular choice for 3D printers, CNC machines, and now apparently battling the morning sun. Then we need some simple curtains and some other electronic stuff such as breadboards, which is like Lego set for electronics. It lets you easily connect components without the need of soldering, making it perfect for experimenting and testing your ideas. No more melted wires or burnt fingers. It's also reusable, so you can build and rebuild circuits to your heart's content. It's like a blank canvas for your electronic imagination. Now, to connect all those components on the breadboard, we need some jumper wires. These flexible wires are like the nervous system of our circuit, carrying signals from one component to the other without the need of soldering. And finally, we have the relay, which is like a tiny bouncer for your circuits. It can control high power devices like motors or lights with a low power signal from your microcontroller. It's like having a remote control for your power outlets, but way more fun. In our project, the relay will act as a switch that turns the power on and off for our motor, ensuring it only consumes power only when it needs to. Now attaching a stepper motor to the window blind, let's say it's not as simple as as attaching a magnet to the fridge. I tried everything, tape, screws, even a bit of wishful thinking, but nothing seemed to work. Then after watching endless life hack videos, I stumbled upon instructables.com. The link is attached below. And this was a treasure of DIY projects. I found designs for 3D printed parts that could seamlessly connect my motor to the blinds. A quick call to an old friend with a 3D printer, and a generous heart, and I could finally implement my vision. So the result, this is not a video. The result was that the curtains never really opened. So, well, it turns out my battle against the sun wasn't going to be as straightforward as I thought. When I thought the light sensor will easily detect the light, I was so wrong because I didn't understand the complexity of light. As at night, there are a lot of light sources still present, such as street lights, the moonlight, and in my case, what made this a failure was the light in my neighbor's room. Sorry. My light sensor couldn't make sure that what was sunlight and what was not, and most of the time set the blinds to closed, and some tweaks to the intensity metric caused the blinds to open and close at random, like a disco party for the insomniacs. Clearly, this wasn't what I was aiming for. Plus, let's face it, Raspberry Pis are not exactly pocket change. Installing this setup on every window in my room would bankrupt me faster than all the shopping I'll do in South Korea on this trip. So, after my initial attempt to outsmart the sun ended up in chaos, I knew it was time to go back to the YouTube tutorials and Google. Armed with newfound knowledge and countless hours of DIY videos, I realized my first solution was, well, a bit rough around the edges, and it was time for a glow up. Through diligent research and some trial and error, okay, maybe a lot of trial and error, I discovered ways to refine my design and make it truly flawless. Get ready to witness the evolution of my sleep saving machine. For that, we need a few more things. The first is VMOS D1 Mini. It is a small and affordable microcontroller which can be connected via Wi-Fi, which means it can connect to your home network and communicate with your Raspberry Pi without any messy cables. The Easy Driver Stepper board is a compact and user-friendly stepper motor driver board based on Allegro A3967 micro-stepping driver chip. It simplifies the process for controlling stepper motors, making it ideal for beginners like me who want to add precise motion control to their projects. Alright, now it's time to introduce to Home Assistant. This was not part of the original plan, but when I saw it, I knew it should be part of the solution. It is a free and open source platform that acts as a central control hub for all your smart devices. Lights, thermostats, and our beloved automated blinds. Home Assistant brings them all together under just one roof. And the best part is it runs on Raspberry Pi, so it's not only powerful but also DIY friendly. No need to hand over your smart home data to some giant corporation. You are in control. To set up Home Assistant, all you need to do is download the Home Assistant OS by visiting the official website and download the latest image for your Raspberry Pi. Write the image to the SD card with a tool like Etcher. Boot the Raspberry Pi by inserting the SD card and power on the device. That's it. So, how do all these devices, the Raspberry Pi, the VMOS D1 Mini, and potentially even Home Assistant, talk to each other? They gossip, of course, but in IoT world, gossip is called MQTT. So MQTT is a lightweight messaging protocol, perfect for devices with limited resources and unreliable connections. Imagine a group of friends who want to share messages, but they don't want to shout it across the room. So they use a special mailbox with different slots for different types of messages. The mailbox is like MQTT. It is a way for devices to send messages to each other. Here's how it works. The mailbox has different slots like jokes, wishes, or dinner plans. These are called topics. When a friend has a message to share, they write it down and put it on the right slot. Put it on the right slot. This is called publishing. Friends who want to hear certain secrets can check the slots they are interested in, and this is called subscribing. So if your friends puts a joke in the joke slot, you will find it when you check that slot. In our project, MQTT acts as a communication backbone, allowing Raspberry Pi to send commands to VMOS D1 Mini. It's a secret language that keeps our smart curtains in sync with the sun's schedule. So, Mosquito is an open source implementation of a server of the MQTT protocol. The software installation is simple. All you have to do is do sudo apt update on your Raspberry Pi, then sudo apt upgrade, apt-get install mosquito, and apt-get install mosquito clients. So once you have that installed, all you need to do is start the MQTT server by using the command sudo systemctl start mosquito. Now to test that, you can start a subscriber mosquito sub -h broker address -t topic, and to publish a message to a topic, you can use mosquito underscore pub -h broker address -t topic and -n message. So here is an example where I connected two clients and tried to send a message from one to another. So it's time to unveil the upgraded turbocharged version of my sleep saving system. We are taking things to the next level with MQTT and Home Assistant. So in the solution, even if we have multiple curtains in the room, the inexpensive vMOS G1 Mini will connect to my Raspberry Pi, determining connection to open or close the curtains according to the sunrise and sunset time, which I get by hitting an API or by astronomical calculations. Don't worry, we'll break down each component step by step. You'll see how this upgraded solution not only solved my light sensor problems, but also opened up a whole new world of possibilities for my smart home. So first, to configure vMOS G1 Mini to Home Assistant, we need to install the ESP Home add-on in Home Assistant, then connect the vMOS G1 Mini to your computer via USB. In ESP Home, choose the new device and select vMOS G1 Mini board type. Configure Wi-Fi credentials and any desired sensors or components. Click Install to compile and upload firmware to vMOS G1 Mini. Once installed, the device will appear in Home Assistant automatically. So let's start with the code. Part 1, setting up MQTT. So first, let's start with connecting our Python code to our MQTT server, which we set up in the previous steps. We are using PAHO MQTT library, a popular choice for Python MQTT communication. It's like installing a trust-free translator that allows a Raspberry Pi to send and receive messages on the MQTT network. Now that our Raspberry Pi knows how to speak MQTT, it's time to connect it to the central communication hub, the MQTT broker. Think of it like a train station. Devices send their messages, which means passengers, to the station where they are sorted and routed to their intended destinations. In our code, we simply tell MQTT client to connect to the broker using its address. Once connected, our Raspberry Pi can start sending and receiving messages, just like passengers hopping on and off trains at the station. Client.loop does a special thing by running the client on an async thread, which makes sure our code can do other things simultaneously, sending and receiving messages from the MQTT server. Part 2. Set up the logic for blinds to open and close. We're also leveraging some powerful libraries to make our lives easier. First is requests. The library lets us fetch data from the web with the help of API calls. Now let's talk about time and space. Our script needs to be aware of the current time and our location. To make those crucial curtain decisions, for that we are using Astral. Astral is a Python library that provides accurate calculations for astronomical events such as sunrise, sunset, moon phases, and even twilight, easily determining precise timings for any location and date. Then the datetime library helps us keep track of the current time, ensuring our system stays in sync with the real world. No more confusing 3 a.m. curtain openings. So now declare the topic name and the IP of the MQTT server and connect to the MQTT server. So in this code, first we add the location data in the script for the sunrise and sunset calculations. Then the check time and control function checks if the time is after sunrise and before sunset. Then close the curtains, otherwise open the curtains. To ensure that this happens every 10 minutes, we added a while loop to call check and time control function and then sleep for 600 seconds. Then part 3, set up our VMOS driven mini to close and open the blinds. So the overall system, for our design is shown on the screen. This diagram illustrates the hardware setup for our automatic curtain system. We are using VMOS driven mini computer to control the NEMA 17 motor, which will drive the curtain mechanism. The easy driver acts as a bridge between the VMOS and the motor, while the relay module allows us to safely switch the motor's power supply. The power supply VMOS driven mini requires 5 volt to operate, and while the stepper motor typically needs 12 volt, make sure to use appropriate power supplies for each component. So the VMOS driven mini pins are connected to the easy driver to control the motor's direction, step, and enable the signals. The easy driver motor outputs are connected to the NEMA 17 motor, and the relay module is relay module's input is connected to VMOS driven mini pin, and its output controls the power supply to the motor. So I don't understand the electronics as well. I just found this diagram, which I'm showing right here, and magically it seemed to work. So first, the VMOS connects to your home Wi-Fi network. Now just add the Wi-Fi credentials in the code mentioned, and you should be able to connect. So, first start by declaring the variables, which includes the MQTT server, which is just the IP address of our MQTT server. Then we declare the client ID. It can be anything you want. Just make sure you are keeping it unique if you are going to make multiple clients. And the last is topic underscore sub, which we declared earlier as well in the VMOS driven mini code. Now create a function named sub underscore CB, short form for subscription underscore callback, which calls the open and close function according to the message received by MQTT. And now connect the MQTT server according to the variables declared, and set underscore callback and set underscore CB function, and subscribe to the topic declared. Now whenever the message will come in the home/curtains topic, set callback function will call the sub underscore CB function, which will indicate whether to close or open the curtains. First, from the assembly part, we have to replicate the D1 and D2 with the correct pin numbers, which we have connected to the easy driver stepper board and the relay module respectively. Then these functions simply turn the appropriate pins on and off to activate the curtain motor. Then the main loop keeps the VMOS driven mini listening to MQTT messages, ready to act when it receives a command. Now, and don't forget to flash your VMOS driven mini code to mini code which we have just written. Flashing simply means adding your code to the microcontroller, and steps to it can be found on this link. So, from battling a rogue light sensor to harnessing power of Home Assistant and MQTT, I have finally achieved the perfect balance between work, sleep, and a well-lit room. The sun may still rise every morning in my city, but it no longer dictates my sleep schedule. So I hope this journey has inspired you to embrace the power of DIY home automation and MicroPython. Whether it's fighting the sun, automating your coffee maker, or building a robot butler, the possibilities are endless. Remember, with a little creativity and a dash of Python magic, you can create your own smart home dreams to reality. Thank you for joining me in this adventure. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's almost 2 a.m. and my curtains are calling. Thank you.